it's a sensible BC.
Yes, this one.
Nice.
Oops, that's a big.
Nice.
I hope you weren't talking over
See,
that the whole
the
time.
sensible BC shirt. They're very nice. Dana Washington is a nice man. Oh.
You gotta stop Harper.
Yeah, stop Harper. I'm not sure who Harper is, but stop him anyway. He's the prime minister. Okay, stop Harper. He's a prime minister. Minister.
Everybody, this is Junior Bear. He's the most amazing bear that a girl could ever love. My name is Julia. I'm with PeterMcWilliams.org.
Who's Peter McWilliams?
Peter McWilliams was an amazing best-selling author, poet, self-publisher of over 40 books, 5 of them New York Times bestsellers. He wrote a range of books from poetry to civil liberties to helping people heal depression and help people just all around feel better about themselves and their lives. Peter was diagnosed with AIDS and non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and he found that medical cannabis was the only thing keeping him alive. In fact, the level of AIDS in his system went from 300,000 to 0 with the medical cannabis. But the moment that the government, the U.S. government, told him he could no longer have cannabis, his levels shot through the roof, and he got very ill. And at that time, they had jailed him, and they said as a condition of his bail that he wasn't allowed to do cannabis anymore, or else his mother and brother would both lose their houses. So he kind of wanted his mom and his brother to keep a house, so he ended up dying at the very young age of 50. And that's why this banner is up there. He said, and I quote, "Nausea is an unsolved problem of medicine, and marijuana is the finest anti-nausea medication known to science." He was a lot of things to a lot of people, and he still is. His books are still in print, available at PeterMcWilliams.org, available for me at CHAMPS this weekend, and his words are still strong. And he's a cannabis hero to many in the community, and to the rest, they just haven't discovered him yet.
Awesome. And are you a medical user?
I'm actually a cannabis virgin. I don't smoke at all. I'm a dork. So I show up here in frilly dresses. This one lady, Sharon Letts, is a really nice writer, called it flouncy dresses. So I show up in flouncy dresses, and I don't even say bad words. I'm a dork. Thank you. I believe that people should have the right to do whatever they want, and if it's going to help themselves, if it's going to help their health, they should have the right to do whatever the heck they want. And they shouldn't have the government or anyone else telling them what they can put in or out of their bodies. They shouldn't be saying to me, well, for your headache, you absolutely have to take Advil or Excedrin. You can't look at a natural cure. No. They can't be doing that. And like the foods we eat. They can't just say, oh, we order you to eat something with GMOs. No, they should say, we want you to have nice organic choices. You know, where the apples actually have worms that still live in them. And you should be able to eat the worms, or not the worms, but the apples with the, be nice to the worms. You know what I mean? I haven't gotten any sleep. That's what happens. Would you like to hear about a hero? He was amazing. This man, Peter McWilliams. He was a best-selling author and publisher. He was a really nice guy. He got really sick, and he found that medical cannabis is keeping him alive. So many Canadians. Oh my goodness. So many Canadians. Patients, cannabis users, all sorts of patients, and all sorts of people love Peter's story. In fact, 2 of those people on the panel today love Peter McWilliams. I know this for a fact. So I'm also going to the Normal Conference down in Texas. So if the Normal in Texas will have me, I really hope the Normal in Canada will too. Well, it depends on what they like. If they like poetry, How to Survive the Loss of Love has been out since 1971. It's an amazing book. And his poetry is in that book, and it's very feeling and passionate. And if they're a negatron and they're grumpy, they should reach for You Can't Afford the Luxury of a Negative Thought, because even Peter McWilliams himself was a negatron. Or if they're really interested in crimes against humanity and how the drug war negatively affects all of us, and how prison population is, it just takes up so much money and resources, then this is the book for you. So there's a whole bunch of books by Peter that anybody would love. I just know it. We have shirts too. This person who doesn't want to be filmed, we'll just show her arms. If she could show the shirt, that would be awesome. Don't show her face. Respect her shyness. I'm shy too. You'll see Peter on the front. Look how handsome he was. And then on the back, it's the nausea quote. Nausea is an unsolved problem of medicine, and marijuana is the finest anti-nausea medication known to science. It's definitely different than treating yourself. There's a completely different vibe, I think. And it's interesting. We'll see how it goes. People have been very warm and supportive, they've been very supportive of my work, and I guess we'll see what it goes. There are these panels all day long, and it's kind of hard for me to think when they're talking so loud, so I try to compete with them. I'm loud too. Can I do a couple quotes for Peter? Okay. Which do you want, the poetry or the... I want you to pick the page, and I'll read it to you. Just open it up. You have chosen a very depressing poem. Sifting through the ashes of our relationship, I find many things to be grateful for. I can say thank you for warm mornings, cold protein drinks, and all the love you have ever offered another. I can say thank you for being there, willing to be shared. I can say thank you for the countless poems you were the inspiration for, and the many changes you were, what's this word? Catalyst too. But how in my grasp of the English language, faltering as it is, can I ever thank you for Beethoven? Peter McWilliams, everybody, an absolute hemp hero, somebody that we all need to know about because Peter's story happens every day.
Hello. I'm here for the CHAMP conference, and I love CHAMP, and I love my sister Julia. And I love you too. You're a nice man. Thank you for letting the bear be heard. I want to get on the stage tomorrow and I want to speak too. I want to speak all about picnics and chocolate and soda pop and picnics and people eating picnics and bears going through the foot. Thank you very
His name was
much.
Peter McWilliams, and I see a show of you with his face on the shirts, and it just really makes me proud. Thank you so much for being here. Give yourselves a round of applause, first of all. I'm here to tell Canadians about an amazing American who cared about all people, regardless of where they were from. Peter McWilliams was born in 1949, and he became a best-selling poet, author, and self-publisher. He published over 40 books, 5 of them on the New York Times bestseller list. Pretty impressive, isn't it, considering they didn't have the internet back then? Peter became sick in March of 1996. He discovered that medical cannabis was the only thing keeping his medicines down. Otherwise, he would throw up all the time. How many of you in the audience right now understand nausea and what it does to you? Show of hands. How many of you have thrown up and understand how that feels? And do you all believe that cannabis is the one thing that helps it?
Yes.
I can't hear you.
Yes.
So the cannabis was helping Peter. But the really stinky thing about it was, at this point, he became pretty outspoken, and the government did not like that very much. He wrote the book, Ain't Nobody's Business If You Do, and he was against what the drug war was doing to people, patients like yourselves. He spoke out as a patient. He spoke out against the drug war. The government didn't like that, and guess what? Everywhere they seemed to raid people's houses, there would be Peter's little red book. So it was like leading them on a trail of breadcrumbs back to Peter. They went and knocked on his door. DEA agents came and raided this man. They took his computers. They took everything that he worked on so hard. And this best-selling author who was driving his Lexus suddenly became bankrupt because of what our government, the US government, did to him. But Peter kept fighting. He was jailed for 30 days, in large part without his cannabis. Do you know what they told him? They said, if you keep using medical cannabis, your mother and your brother will lose their homes. That's the only way you can avoid jail. What do you think about that, guys? How outrageous is that? It's crazy, isn't it? Great. So he got sicker and sicker, and in 2000, on June 14th, this patriot, this man that fought for freedom all along the world, all over the world, ended up dying at the age of 50. 50 is still young, guys. 50, he had a whole lot of life in him. So I'm here today because I believe that Canadians especially care about his story. Because guess what? He might be dead since 2000, but his story is still happening every single day, and every one of you I see. You're being denied your medicine. You're being told you can't grow. You're being told everything that Peter was being told. And I'm here to tell you that it's really important for all of you to keep fighting for your rights. Fight for the right to grow. Fight for the right to use. Fight for everybody's rights to use, because that's what Peter would have wanted for you. Thank you so much. And my speech is the shortest and sweetest speech you'll hear. Short and sweet like me. Thank you.
Julia. Thank you, Julia. Just like much of life, we muddled through. But now we're getting to the end of the normal portion of this conference, by which I mean the portion of the conference given over to the National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws. And it's been great. I want to give a big thanks again.